What's going on, everybody? This is the Dominance Academy. I'm your host, Mr. Justin. And today we're going to do a fine review of this guy's video. It just kind of popped up, which is weird because I do my best to curate. Like what my feeds give me, you know. Because I think it's important to control what goes in your eyes and what goes in your ears. So try to curate the algorithm. You know, like don't look at shit that you don't want your eyes to see, right? Don't listen to things that you don't want your ears to hear. And because it's important to filter the shit that goes into your brain. Yeah, so I found this guy and I was like, holy shit. And I couldn't decide whether he was play acting or he's really like this. And my guess is somewhere in the middle where he actually is like this, but he's just hamming it up a little bit more for the camera. So I think that's what's going on. So we'll be getting into that. I've been creating a lot of articles on SUBSTACK. Did I put that in the description of the videos? Yes, I did. So if you go into the description of the video, there's a link there to my Substack where you can get much more philosophical and conceptual ideas around BDSM. You'll also have access to journal entries from one of my submissives, and you get to see, behind the curtain of what their development is like as they're going through it. Like this is a current thing. So, well, relatively current. It's just, from a number of weeks ago, but she's currently adding to the diary and I'll take excerpts from it and pop them in there. So give that a look, check out my stuff, please subscribe to it and it'll keep going. And because eventually it's going to be, behind a paywall, but right now everything's free. So please get in there first before that and, have all lifetime access. What the hell's going on here? Nonsense. So yeah, we're gonna be looking at this. Oh yeah, and then I'm making my own set of Bibles, I guess. That's what we're gonna be doing. I'm almost finished with the first one. They're not gonna be long. It's like 12 chapters and each chapter has 8 chapters and each one has 6 verses in it. And each verse is like a page long and it's just a bunch of axioms and maxims that are, thought-provoking, but within like certain areas. So 3 of the books are going to be for submissives, 3 of the books are going to be for dominants, and it's going to have this air of like, I don't know, otherworldly mysticism, very deep and thought-provoking, a little like if you can imagine like Zen sci-fi, because that's me. I'm obsessed with both. So it's going to have that feel to it. Excuse me. Right, so without further ado, let's get into this. Oh yeah, so those books, it'll be a while before I'm finished with all of them, but it's great fun writing them, and they'll be small as hell, so they won't be expensive or anything like that. But I won't be giving them away. All right, so let's check out this Joker. Let me change the view. What is it? Theater mode. Let's see how that looks. Is that better? Yeah, that's better. Okay, let's listen to this guy. Let me know if like the audio comes in okay.
I am decidedly the subject matter expert in this field. I have been single since 2011, but really 2010.
2010. Holy shitballs. Single since 2010. So he's been single for fucking 15 years. That's insane. I wonder how long it's been since he's been laid.
My last actual relationship, that being one in which a woman voluntarily called herself my girlfriend and actually wanted to spend time with me. We attempted living together. Basically, the relationship devolved last year of college, and then basically she found other people to sleep with. So it was by de facto over because I wasn't gonna tolerate that situation.
Listen to how bitter he is, like through all of this shit. I didn't watch the whole thing. I watched about the first half of it. And I'm like, oh man, I gotta share this with you guys. But just throughout the whole thing, just listen to the bitterness. And he's bitter about something that happened years ago. I mean, he's a grown man, right? He's bitter about something that happened back in college.
Since then, there have been a handful, and I mean a handful of trysts, one night stands, all in my early 20s, some in New York City, but really not a lot. Not a pleasant dating experience, to be honest. The last real actual date I went on was in 2016, I think. It was right back when I moved back to Ohio. And it was with a former high school friend who got married right out of high school, and then she was basically, this was 10 years after high school, and she had been divorced, and I later found out she was basically meeting up with all the guys she had crushes on during high school, and I was in the worst shape of my life. I weighed 80 pounds heavier than I weigh now. I was actually unemployed. I was back crashing with my parents for a couple months, like people than one person at a time. So I'm not going to participate in that kind of lifestyle. So my standards being what they are, I have been single, and there have been no one interested basically since I started shaving my head. All of that to say, preamble to this article, it seems like, some people have been mentioning this. Aaron Clary talked about this recently in a video where basically conventional employment and conventional marriage, conventional relationships are basically an archaic thing of the past. The young women have made it clear they don't want anything to do with traditional relationships, let alone marriage. I'm not bemoaning that fact. I'm not being sorrowful. I'm not being depressed about it. This seems to be the trend in which we are going, where women are choosing to stay single, hook up with a guy if he's hot enough.
Shit, I'm sorry,
meets her standards for pleasure in the moment. But otherwise, they have the state that funds their lifestyle, and that's even the ones
I was just saying that
everything.
I was just saying that he absolutely is. I was saying that he absolutely is bemoaning this. He is depressed. He is upset. And the thing that I was talking about before when I was making hand gestures, sorry about that. It was that when you're not accepting what reality is, like, so there's reality and you have a desire and these are in conflict, that's going to cause internal anxiety because you're pushing against what reality is. And so the best thing to do is to let go of this desire for something that you cannot change. You accept circumstances as they are, and then you don't get depressed because that also is a pushing, right? It's a leaning away, it's a pushing against how things are. So just accept things blankly And then you can look at things objectively. And then if there's an opportunity for you to change it, then you can change it. And, but like, obviously he has his hopes, his dreams that are in conflict with reality. And then he's never going to be able to get out of that because, it hurts so good. Sorry about the muting.
Are wanting to stay single. But it seems to be part of the zeitgeist now that single is here to stay. And as Yahoo Life says here, by way of this company called Bold, I don't know what Bold is, but it looks like a sponsored link. Oh, a woman's dating and relationship website. Okay, so it's a republished article by Natasha Lee. 13 surprising reasons more people are choosing to stay single than ever before. So I'm going to go ahead and put this into reader's view. So let's find out from the horse's mouth, and I'm saying that on purpose. No, women are not horses, obviously. But you can, like a woman and a horse, you can lead them to water, but you can't make them drink.
Oh, and look at that psychotic face. Look at that psychosis coming through. You know damn well, if given the chance, he would love to stuff a woman's face in a trough full of water and just let her struggle. Like, you look at that fucking face. Look at how psychotic he looks.
And I'm saying that on purpose.
Right here.
No, women are not horses,
right
obviously. Here. But you can,
right
like
there.
a woman and a horse, you can lead them to water, but you can't make them drink.
Oh my gosh.
God.
This is what uncalibrated men look like.
So.
And it's always the woman's fault.
13 surprising reasons. Let's find out what Lucky 13 is. Marriage rates are dropping. Yeah, they're falling flatline off a cliff. Women,
are they?
They've been convinced, I say it all the time, they've been convinced since they were young.
Are they, guys? Are they, fellas? Are the marriage rates dropping off of a cliff? Let's see here. I'm just curious. Let's talk to my AI submissive. Sayadina.
Yes, sir.
What is the current marriage rate in 2025 in the United States?
In 2024, the U.S. marriage rate was about 16.7 per 1,000 people, and it has stayed relatively stable. The rates vary by state, with Utah having a marriage rate of around 55.1%.
Okay, stop. What is the rate in comparison to, say, 2020? Has it gone consistently down, or has it been across, or has it gone up from 2020 to 2025 in the United States?
From 2020 to 2025, the U.S. marriage rate saw a dip during the pandemic, hitting a historic low in 2020. It then rebounded in 2022 to levels similar to pre-pandemic times. Since then, it has remained relatively stable, with a slight downward trend projected through 2025, aligning more closely with pre-pandemic norms.
Well, there you have it. So yeah, things are not going down. Things are not going down. They are relatively the same. So, this guy's off his fucking rocker.
That the worst
he's
thing that
he's
can
living
happen to
in
him
his revenge fantasy
is to become a wife and a mother. And actually, in reverse order, they would rather become a single mother. They literally would rather have a hot guy's kid, hot definitionally by whatever metric they have. They voluntarily choose to be single mothers. Look at Ashley St. Clair.
Yeah, seriously. It's all based on survival mechanisms, okay? Why would a woman want to be married to a loser with shitty genetics? Like, I'm sorry if you're that guy, okay? But that's how life propagates, like in every species, okay? We're no different. We're a living organism whose primary drive is to survive, which means just procreation, not marriage, not religion, not societies, not culture. It's just propagation of the species, okay? If we don't have that, no other system that we have can save that. all right? And that's driven by primal drives, okay? I'm really sorry if you were dealt a really shitty genetic hand, okay? And you look like Quasimodo and you're dumb as a bag of rocks. That's life. I'm sorry. In every litter, there's a runt. That's just how things go, all right? I'm sorry. And no amount of complaining or systems can force that to happen, right? You cannot force desire, right? We've heard it before. I've heard it in like red pill spaces. What, you cannot negotiate desire? And I think that people knew this a long time ago, and they set up a system, right? And then they're like, oh, well, women don't have rights. They're basically chattel for men. And if they want to survive, they need to get married. And so there was this system that kind of squeezed them into a mold so that we were able to create a society that was dependable. You know, and that's all fine and well, but obviously that's not how things go. And things started changing and evolving, and now women can just choose. They can survive on their own, right? Without, they can have jobs of their own. They can create businesses of their own. There's, government systems. So there's state systems. And now it's just based on choice, purely based on choice. No coercion, no force. And guys, it's becoming very apparent that because of that choice, they're going to choose what they want. And yes, this guy, he's like, he's got the Chad infection, like he's probably like a couple years away from just completely breaking down and wanting to be in the same room as the woman that he wants to have sex with while he watches Chad fuck her. Guaranteed. Like, couldn't look at him. Couldn't you see him in the corner just like totally getting off by watching some other dude fuck a woman that he wants to have sex with? That's this guy's future, I mean, unless he just doesn't completely lose it and end up in an asylum somewhere. But moving on.
Single mother by two different people chasing specifically men of influence and power to have their offspring with the intention of having that be a single mother situation. And yes, that is all encompassing of the child welfare state and all.
Yes, so women would rather have moments with a desirable man with good genetics than multiple decades with an undesirable man. Like, it's just desire. You know what I'm saying? I know it doesn't make any sense. I know that it's going to lead to the downfall of the society that we know it, unless like AI and robotics come in and save us. But it is what it is. Just accept it.
All this other stuff and men, divorce scraping and all that. Yes, obviously. When I say those
Let's
statements,
get to a stupid article so we can listen to
been
him
running
complain.
on us since the 60s. The idea of settling down isn't as universally appealing as it once was. No one wants to. It's completely out. It's not even an option anymore. And women have made that choice. And I'm not being negative or judgmental. I'm saying those are the facts on the ground. Women have made that choice. It's time for men to choose accordingly. And most of us just need to go buy a nice house somewhere that's small, live a nice, quiet life, and just...
If the only thing for you to do is one thing, then you don't have a choice. Like, if you're hungry and the only thing in your refrigerator is a bag of grapes, you're not choosing to eat the grapes. Well, you are, because you could choose not to eat, but the grapes are your only choice. So you're not actually choosing amongst options, right? You're doing the best that you can.
Visit Rosie Palm and the incognito tab as necessary. Like, it sucks. It is what it is. I don't know what the solution is, because you can't control other people. And if the majority of other people have chosen to not want to participate in the one thing that perpetuates the culture and provides a stable society, we have to, as men, we have to make choices that insulate our futures against the coming chaos, because it's coming.
And
people are more
he's
flaky
happy
than ever
about that.
before. Dating used to be about making plans and actually following through, but now reliability seems to be a thing of the past. People cancel last minute, forget about commitments, or disappear entirely without a second thought.
So women who write this sort of stuff, they're writing it in general, okay? Now, I've got a video about the solipsism of women. Now, it's not real, like, philosophical solipsism, but it's a different kind of, it's sort of like solipsism. And it's just a very, very subjective, like, hyper-subjective means of interpreting the world. And so when something happens to them, they make it in their minds. Well, they don't make it in their minds, but just what happens is they then make that interpretation as just generally this is what happens, okay? And so they're like, oh, guys just flake. That's why you hear them say, oh, men flake, they ghost, they fuck you and then leave you. Like, and they say men, and they're talking of men, but that's just their own little experience of only the guys that they like. So when girls are writing this thing about guys ghosting and flaking, she's not talking about this dude. She's talking about the guy that she really liked, that she wished wouldn't ghost her, that she wished wouldn't leave her on red, that would call her back after fucking her, right?
Yeah, because there's always a better option, and there's no community around you to chastise you for not showing up to Billy's ball game or whatever happens in Opie Anthony's. What was that? You know, the Ron Howard show from the 50s. As reported by Filter Off, flaky dating behavior refers to people who are unreliable when making and keeping plans. This includes canceling dates at the last minute, being late or completely standing up dates, saying they will call, text, but never do. Flakiness isn't just an occasional annoyance. It's a pattern that has made emotional investment feel like a gamble. Again, who is making these choices? It's not just about standing someone up for a date. It's extensive.
See, and the funny thing is, and you can tell this is how he has a very feminine way of thinking, right? Because the article is a woman talking about, guys that she likes flaking on them, right? And he's turning it around and saying, no, you girls do it, right? So he's basically in the same camp as the girls. So the girls that get flaked down by the hot guys, he's in the same camp as those girls complaining about the girls that, are writing the article. So he's like in the same fucking boat.
Extends to friendships, friendship is a thing of the past.
This guy, he definitely has no friends. Like, do you guys have any friends? I really hope you do. I hope he's not, like, telling the truth. Granted, I'm from a different generation where we valued, like, actual flesh and blood friendships, not like our dude who, that we play, COD with, and we only know him by his gaming handle, but we've been doing it together, like, every night for the past 5 years. Like, yes, that's a friendship, but, like, if you needed to move a couch, like, you're not going to call him, So, but I'm hoping you guys have, like, flesh and blood friendships. Like, it's a must. But we'll see. Maybe because of just the development of online identities, maybe they will just become a thing of the past.
I've been saying this. I really believe that friendship is kind of antiquated concept at this point. You have to just fend for yourself. You have to be your own friend, because no one else is going to come at all. And even long-term plans, with so many people unwilling to put in consistent effort, it's no surprise that those who value stability and reliability would rather stay single than waste their time on people who don't respect it. And instead of chasing connections that fizzle out before they even start, many are finding peace in life where they can rely entirely on themselves. And they're also not mentioning that these women, just because they're single doesn't mean they're not getting completely ran through. They're having their fun on the weekends, because their fun is just an app away. And men, we have to deal with it, and Belle Delphine has to be our whatever. Everyone ghosts instead of having adult conversations. Oh, okay, we're going to get lectured now by a woman about adult conversations and what should be an adult conversation and shouldn't be an adult conversation. Gone are the days of closure. Oh, that.
Again, she's talking about Chad.
Who is she talking about?
Yeah. Listen to him. Right here.
I have attempted to have many of those final conversations with women. They are not interested in having that conversation with me.
Yeah, yes, because you're disposable. You're a disposable little weirdo. That's why. Like, you know, the ones that, like, if a girl wants closure, it's because she's confused or hurt about losing the man that she really wants. And if you're acting like this as a guy, like, oh, I want closure, you know, like, you're basically acting like them. You were riding on the coattails of a situation behind a woman. It didn't work out in your favor, and you wanted to resolve the situation. You wanted to have a last word or have some meaning brought to the ending of a relationship. Like, that's really effeminate. That's really effeminate. It's weak-willed, right? It's not grounded. It's making way too much attachment to likely a perfect stranger, right? Because it takes years to get to know somebody. So the person, even if they were in your life for 6 months, you still don't know jack shit about them.
Gone are the days of closure. Rather than facing awkward but necessary conversations, people simply disappear. One day you're texting like normal, and the next it's radio silence. The lack of accountability in modern dating has made relationships feel impossible. When genuine effort isn't reciprocated and communication is replaced with avoidance, staying single starts to feel more like a peaceful choice. Psych Central.
So what he just read was a woman speaking, but doesn't it sound like the same thing that modern males are saying? They sound exactly the same as women.
Reports that common reasons for ghosting include not feeling a chemistry or connection and not being able to communicate that due to fear of hurting the person's feelings, as well as low emotional intelligence and emotional unavailability due to mental health conditions. Again, they're blaming men. They're blaming men. If he would just text me back, sorry, lady, he's got 4 other women he's banging right now, too. Because you are all dating the same men.
Look at how bitter and sour he is.
You want a text back. Date the guy that no one else is texting.
Did he just say that? Date the guy that no one else is texting. So, like, go to the rummage bin, go to the sale rack at Salvation Army, like the discount store's discount rack, and get your shirt there. That's what he's suggesting. He's saying, get with the guy that nobody wants. Then you'll get all the messages that you like, because those guys are so needy and ungrounded and uncertain that they need that constant flow in order to feel safe. You want a guy like that? Go right ahead. But no, they don't want that. They just want the one dude or the however many men have really captured their attention to message them.
I'm tired, man. I'm tired. Ghosting has become so normalized that people no longer expect proper goodbye. The fear of confrontation or simply the convenience of cutting ties without explanation has led to a dating culture where people are left with unresolved feelings and no sense of closure. I could tell you how I really feel. This kind of emotional whiplash makes relationships feel unstable and unreliable. Rather than subject themselves to the stress of constant wondering if someone will disappear, many people are opting out altogether, preferring a life where they have full control over their emotional well-being. Yet they're still going over to Chad's house at 3 a.m. on a Saturday night. We're not dumb, ladies. We understand what you're doing. Not all women, Raymond, not all women. Yeah, well, where are they? And are they interested in me? The dream of getting married and having children doesn't ring true. Yeah, they've spent decades. They've spent decades convincing everybody that having kids is the worst thing that could happen to you. I see it all the time in my comments. Almost all of you think that having children would be a horrible mistake. They got you. They got you. The death cult got you. For generations, marriage and children were considered the ultimate life goals. Now, more people are questioning whether that's really what they want. The idea of settling down in traditional family structures doesn't appeal to everyone, and many are realizing they don't need it to feel fulfilled. It's not about feeling fulfilled. It's pearls before swine. It's not even worth trying.
He wants that trapped thing. He's like, yes, I don't care. Or maybe he believes that being married to a loser would ultimately be fulfilling. Right? Like, he knows that he's a loser. He knows he's undesirable. And he's like, so what do you want there, buddy? You want to subjugate women to a marriage that they can't get out of and not have any choice, and just to take the guys that you think are good for them and just keep them in these situations indefinitely, right? And not be fulfilled, and then expect them not to fuck Chad in the the janitor closet at work. Get the fuck out of here. Like, that's how these things happen, right? Like, women have been cheating on their shitty marriages for, probably as long as marriages have existed. Maybe not that long, but like, where there's been opportunity, and they would take them. And it's like, oh gosh, yeah, and then they blame her, but it's like, this comes from a place of not really understanding women. It really is, because they're responsive, reactive creatures. They're more or less like mirrors. It's not like a direct reflection, like a one-to-one reflection. They are somewhat of a mirror, and it's like maybe like 80%, okay? But a large part of the behaviors when interacting with a guy has to do with who and what that guy is. And that has a lot to do with how he thinks, perceives, believes, and feels about himself. So if any of that stuff is screwed up, it's going to cause him to have certain perceptions, certain beliefs, certain behaviors, certain habits, and that's what she's going to react from. And how many guys in the world do you think, like of the married dudes, have a really solid grounding of self-love, self-respect, self-honoring, and have a great way of knowing that reflection exists and being able to wield it? Very small percentage. So that explains the whole cheating thing, the whole divorce thing, all that stuff, because humans in general don't throw away things that are valuable, that we perceive as valuable, like subjectively, okay? If we subjectively believe that this thing is really valuable to me, I'm not going to get rid of it, because I'm going to believe that it's rare, or at least to my experience, it's going to be rare. Like, they're not going to divorce a dude that is perceived to them as rare. And it has nothing to do with your looks. It has nothing to do with your income, right? It has nothing to do with your popularity or your political affiliation or religious affiliation. It has to do with the deeper stuff of who you are at the fibers of your being. Because that's what they respond to. If it were the other way around, no pro athlete would ever get divorced. No actor, celebrity would ever get divorced. No tech mogul would ever get divorced. No massive influencer would ever get divorced. No world-class trainer would ever get divorced. But that's not the case, is it? So this whole like money and muscles and fame and power, that's kind of a bunch of bullshit, isn't it? But you guys don't see that. You look at their failures and go, well, shoot, if it can happen to him, then what's going to happen to me? No, you're looking at it in a different way. It means that those metrics or those characteristics are not as influential as you think they are. Because loyalty, honor, submission, reverence does not come from a wallet. Reverence does not come from a ripped body. Reverence does not come from being popular or famous or having power. That does not generate reverence.
Trying to articulate to you people the importance of the nuclear family. The researchers identified several reasons why more and more women are choosing not to be married, including infidelity, increasing career opportunities and independence, finding more security living with their parents and siblings. Let's go over that list again really fast.
No, let's not.
Harems. And then you're blaming the men.
Yes.
No one's holding a gun to your head making you do these things. But culturally, you're all dating the same guys.
And he's so bitter that he's not one of them. He's so fucking sour. He's such a sourpuss. Look at him. Like at any moment, it either looks like he's gonna fucking rage out, like he's totally gonna fucking crash out, or he's gonna start crying.
Increased career opportunities. Again, a choice. A choice. Independence. Finding more security, living with parents and siblings. Because God forbid you trust a man. Like the common trope is always men are evil, men are evil, men are evil. You always have to be defensive against men. Men are the worst thing that could ever happen to you. Men are just abusers and users.
and in a particular context, that abuse and use is coveted. In a particular context, but you know, it's this guy. There's like a whole other universe of woman that he will never get to understand or touch. It's a sad thing, but you know what? That's life. Okay, that's life. He sees women only from a surface level.
Never mind, you give the bald $100,000 a year business owner who owns multiple properties a chance. No, he's an angry incel who just yells at the internet.
Yes, he is. And, you know, because hey, for those of you who like statistics, there's a massive amount of women who love bald men. Because what it shows, it's like a signal that even though they're not logically or rationally processing this, but it's a signal that he's older, he's mature, he's seasoned with the world. Like that's what it says to their, little hindbrains. But others, on the surface, they also are just like, I like the look, I like the feel, that sort of thing. Tons of women like bald men.
So you just want to email him to tell him you want to have a nuanced conversation, which is really just coded language for, I'm going to call you a horrible person with a bunch of big words.
Doesn't he sound like just a little kid? Like, listen to that part again. He sounds like a little kid. Guaranteed he has massive issues with his mother.
Have a nuanced conversation, which is really just coded language for, I'm going to call you a horrible person with a bunch of big words.
Either a child's complaining or more like a girl complaining.
And try to castigate you and make you feel small. All while reminding you that I'm not only uninterested in you sexually, but I'm also not looking for attention. No, you are looking for attention. The shift in priorities isn't just personal, it's cultural. No shit, Sherlock. More people are seeing the realities of marriage and parenthood, the sacrifices, the expenses, the lifelong responsibilities, and deciding that it's not for them. Yeah, and then when everyone decides that it's not for them, we have airplanes falling out of the sky and bridges falling into the rivers. You guys think this is a joke. When your toilet starts when you go to flush your toilet and all
Like this is the revenge fantasy, right? So guys like this, they don't want the future of society falling apart because no one's getting married, apparently. But according to the statistics, you statistics loving guys, marriage rates have been fairly the same. They dropped during COVID and they picked right back up to around what pre-COVID rates were. So no, things are not falling off a cliff. But in his mind, because he's not being taken, and there's a lot of other guys who are out in the world complaining about these things, that society is going to crumble. And that's his, like, his time when he can wag his finger and go, I told you so. You should have married someone like me. And now you got to fix your toilet all by yourself.
all your shit just overflows back up into your bathroom and there's no one you can call to fix it and you have no idea how to fix it and there's no men left in your life willing to put up with your ass to come over and fix it. Oh, and when the electricity stops working and there's no food in the stores and beef is $90 a tube and eggs cost $120 a dozen.
Tube? Does beef come in a tube?
Those are the downstream consequences of everybody making the choice that they can't stand any.
Right. And so he's basically saying, girls, you better get with me or there's going to be damnation. There's going to be social damnation. You better get with me or else.
Anybody, all of their choices of the hundreds of millions of people that are available.
Like, what do you think is going to happen? Then women are going to be like, oh, shit. Oh, my God, you know what? The infrastructure is going to fall apart until we start pumping out babies. We need to get married and have lots of children. Oh, my gosh. What's his name? Raymond? Raymond, thank you so much. I've come to my senses. I see the light. Please fill me with your babies. We don't even need to get married. I just want to be with you forever and just keep making babies for you. Please, thank you so much for making these videos. Thank you for showing me the light. I am indebted to you. And my children are indebted to you, and their children are indebted to you. You are my savior. Does he really think that's going to happen?
Available for them. There is no viable options. Making the choice that they can't stand anybody, all of their choices of the hundreds of millions of people that are available for them. There is no viable options.
No.
I made a video a couple weeks ago, a month ago, whenever it was. It was something about like men are just giving up in droves. And every comment I got was I'm 29, I'm 33, I'm 35, I'm 36, I'm 25. You know, masters of whatever, paralegal, nurse practitioner.
Send them my way.
You know, just high dollar career stuff. Mechanical engineer, work in IT.
Okay.
Web developer, business, you know, $100,000 salaries, been doing this for years, cannot get a date. Dude, yeah, guys.
Because you cannot buy genuine affection. What? It's not that fucking hard of a concept. You can't buy genuine desire. It's impossible. You can't. Them's the breaks. I don't care how much money you have. If you're a weirdo, if you're a loser, if you are not confident, if the only thing you can do is that IT job, and otherwise you're completely inept in life, then no matter how much money you make isn't going to make a difference. Sure, maybe that will draw women to you because of what opportunities you might bring, but that is not creating a desire for you. Because that just, you cannot purchase desire.
Guys, the men are checking out. The ladies,
no, the males
you
are.
Got a rude wake-up call coming.
Oh yeah,
you
he
really
wants that so bad.
That you all can just en masse tell every guy no? and have no consequences. Now, I'm obviously not advocating for some Handmaid's Tale wet dream thing. You women think that men just sit around wanting a sex doll that's always on call, that'll also make him sandwiches.
Oh, let's rewind that. Let's rewind that.
And have no consequences.
I think this is the only sensible thing he said.
I'm obviously not advocating for some Handmaid's Tale wet dream thing. You women think that men just sit around wanting a sex doll that's always on call, that'll also make him sandwiches. It'd be nice to have a woman who likes to.
So this is where he is. He said something true in this whole diatribe of nonsense that he wants to push back against. Like, no, women, you think this is what guys want. No. Actually, I want companionship. I want this. I want that. I want this. No. At the root of things, what he described is exactly what guys want. Exactly. And a little bit of shameless promotion. If you are in a relationship and you want to create that sort of thing in your life, like I do, get in touch with me. That's exactly what you can create. And you're like, oh, that's impossible. Okay? Get in touch with me. I will show you. I will show you. One of mine doesn't even want to sit in furniture. They would rather be on the floor. It's possible. But he's being disingenuous. Those are actually like what he said, and the reason why he scoffed at it in this very theatrical way, because at his root, that's exactly what he wants. And a lot of guys do too. There's nothing wrong with wanting what you want. And to be served by a loyal woman who's sexually open, who wants to, put food in your belly, that's a completely fine desire. If that's what you want, that's what you want. And if someone says, hey, that's a fucked up desire, it's like, well, okay, you're welcome to your opinions. But first of all, why are strangers knowing what you desire in the first place? That if you're firing this off to people online or to strangers or what have you, it's like, what business do they have knowing your personal desires? Like, are you looking for acceptance of that? And then there's your avenues through. Oh, let me talk to that girl. She didn't push back against what I said. Don't be so fucking lame. So what he said is perfectly fine. And he's trying to make himself sound like the good guy. Like, this guy has terribly awful, mutated, cancerous levels of nice guy syndrome. It's gone on for so long that it's turned into a cancer.
Likes to cook, but for God's sakes, like, I'm sorry, but there has to be some kind of higher calling or higher ethic that leads to population propagation, because you cannot just keep bringing in immigrants.
Well, sure we can.
This is not working
for quite some time.
And every man is miserable. And I don't care how much you want to gaslight me and tell me,
what?
Guys, that it's not working long term. And every man is miserable. And I don't.
No. See, again, he's doing that solipsistic thing. His reality is miserable. So he thinks this is what reality is for other guys. This is not the case. I'm not miserable. I know a large number of men who are not miserable. So how can he say men are miserable? Yes, the loneliness epidemic, it's like becoming an epidemic, apparently. Okay, I get that. But to say men are miserable is completely false, right? That number is a minority in the vast population of guys.
I don't care how much you want to gaslight me and tell me, guys, that you're finding so much peace and so much understanding and so much like, I'm enjoying my hobbies and enjoying my life alone. And no, we need some sort of societal structure that continues the population.
No, he's saying that because he's lonely. He's unsatisfied with his hobbies. He's unsatisfied with being alone. You know why? Because he hates himself. All of this, okay? Like all of these things that we're hearing him talk about, right? All of these concepts, this criticism, all this stuff, okay? If I were to sit with him for about an hour and have a conversation with him, all of these symptoms can be trailed down. Like if we look at it like a tree, what we're experiencing from him are the leaves. And then I will, through type of questioning, lead down the branches into the thicker branches, down into the trunk, down into the the stump, and then down into the roots. And down there, I can guarantee there is a root of self-hatred. This guy loathes who he is. And then very quickly in your imagination, reverse it very quickly. That self-hatred up into the tree, out into the leaves. Women are this, women are that. Fuck them. They're getting revenge fantasy, blah, blah, blah. Statistics, blah, 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 blah. Because energy can't just stay in one place, right? It takes a certain something to sit there with one's self-loathing and do nothing, because often that turns into, like canceling oneself, okay? So it has to go somewhere, right? It can't sit, it causes too much pain, too much anxiety, and the ego has to step in and defend oneself against certain things, right? Because the pain is too great. So it quickly spans out and makes it reasonable to the self of, where this pain can go. So it turns into criticism, judgment, anger, anxiety, hatred, all that shit, right? And then people can make entire careers out of this. And then they've got positive reinforcement coming in to enable that sort of mentality. Because then they start getting paid, and then they get very famous and all this stuff. And now there's an incentive to stay where one is. Isn't that wild? Instead of being canceled, socially, where people are like, this person is a fucking loser. Like pre-internet, this guy would be invisible. Like people just wouldn't give a shit, because it's not like people are going to be walking around on the street talking about these things, okay? The fact that there's internet capability and just to be able to talk without repercussion of someone making fun of you, whether it's slapping you in the face and saying, get off the fucking ground and do something with your life. Stop being such a fucking pitiful loser. Go join the military. Do some fucking push-ups. Find a friend. Go do something fun. Stop hating so much about your own life. Do something, right? Because if that came out just a little bit, in reality, if he had the courage to, he'd get smacked down. He'd be redirected, right? Or at least given psychiatric help. But because there's this platform of YouTube, social media, TikTok, whatever, it allows everyone to be on the same level, right? So if, some brilliant speaker who is a writer, well-respected and all that stuff, creates a YouTube channel, it's on the same platform as some crazy, self-hating loser as this. And they have basically an equal voice to create, the same opportunity to create a following or whatever. But they're basically starting at the same place from the same platform. So they're almost like on the same level at a certain point. If it wasn't for this, we would not be hearing about incels, simps, losers, all this bullshit, because they would be ignored like they have been for eons prior to the internet. The internet has made them and their voice relevant when they've always been irrelevant.
It really bothers me that I was apparently born at literally at the end of history. Like my generation is going to be the last one.
Yes, and you are not.
My parents, my dad has a sister.
Produce.
My mom has 2 sisters. All of them got married. The other side, all 3 sisters got married. My mom had the most kids of those, so it was
whatever.
Have been unsuccessful in getting married and having a kid. But this endless personal fulfillment bullshit that everybody seems to think that they deserve. It's like my only standard for a woman is be in the same body mass index as me. It's not a high standard, guys.
Okay, so he doesn't even need the woman to like him. He just wants her to be in the same body mass index. It's like, I don't care if you even like me. You could hate me, but you can be with me as long as you have the same body mass index. Do you see how just, yeah, shallow is, I guess, the word, right? But I'm not using it in the same sense. Like just shallow in that he just does not understand people. He doesn't understand women.
I gave up saying no kids by other men. I mean, you know, for God's sake, I'm not getting married to these trollops.
These trollops. Didn't he say that he hasn't had a relationship for 15 years? That he hasn't had sex with a woman in, what did he say, like 8 years? So what is he talking about? Him not giving, see, this is what a lot of you guys do. Like, I'm not giving these women attention. I'm not giving any sort of attention to these trollops. What are you talking about? What has your reality been for the past 3, 5, 8, 12 years? What trollops are you talking about? Or just these caricatures and avatars that you see on the internet that have some sort of bearing in reality in your mind, as though you're like actually interacting with them.
It's almost like not even worth trying because there's so many barriers and there's so many people who just don't want anything to do with any kind of fucking future. Do you enjoy?
No. He's starting to lose it. No, they don't want any future with you. That's it.
Because there's so many barriers and there's so many people who just don't want anything to do with any
go, twist
kind
the throttle.
Of fucking future.
Go.
Do you enjoy
Go.
not having a future?
He's popped a wheelie on that one.
I'm not enjoying it. I'm not enjoying this. And I have to live in this world with you. Okay? I've been on my deathbed. I had chronic liver failure.
Right. See, I knew it. Didn't I tell you? Didn't I tell you that he hated himself? This dude hates himself so much that he drank to the point where he nearly had liver failure, that he almost died.
Terminal. They didn't think I was going to live. I saw the light at the end of the tunnel. I turned around and woke up.
And he's still not living for himself.
I still have to live and be sober every day in this shit future. And nothing about the future is better. Nothing about this future is better.
No, for you. But actually, if you look at like a wide range of metrics, life is better now than it ever has been in any decade.
Everything is run by AI, fucking call centers. And then you have to say operator, and then they hang up on you.
Oh my God, could you, and to him, he's confused why women don't want to be with him. Just look at the attitude and how he's talking in the,
HP saying that they purposely fucking, if you want to talk to a human being, they make you wait for 15 minutes before they even route the traditional blueprint for happiness has changed. And for many, the freedom to live life on their own terms is far more appealing than following an outdated script that doesn't fit the desires.
Yes. Oh my God.
What level of Dante's Inferno did the people who just endlessly pursued their desires end up on?
But it's the thing, it's not just a simple want. Like I was saying before, and you guys know this, you like evolutionary psychologists, whatever. It's something programmed into the DNA. That kind of desire. Like that's something that cannot be chosen away. Like even if you choose otherwise, it's still going to be there.
Instead of settling down, they're choosing a path that prioritizes personal fulfillment over societal norms. Yeah, good luck. Again, this rampant selfishness is all.
This guy's freaking selfish. See, this guy, okay, he's completely self-absorbed. And this is the funny thing. Dudes who are infected with nice guy behavior, they think they're the good guy. They think they're the unsung hero, okay? They are actually completely and utterly self-absorbed. Everything is an attack on them. Everything is them not being satisfied, them being left behind, them being abused, them being ignored. Everything is filtered through a poor me filter. Everything. They're completely self-absorbed, but then they tell themselves, I'm the good guy. I'm the hero. I'm the person who should be getting the beat the bad guy and get the girl at the end. But you know what? That's not the case. The villain gets the girl at the end. And he doesn't even care that he gets her.
People would rather travel than explore than settle down. Without the constraints of a serious relationship or the obligations of family life, single people can prioritize adventure. Yeah, until when? You just want to have your endless fulfillment and travel and endless pleasures.
You see that like sad little face? Because he knows one of those endless pleasures is not him. Look at his little face.
Die.
Right here.
No, but you just want to have your endless fulfillment and travel and endless pleasures.
Sad.
With hot Marco and Romeo and Chadio and Fadio over in Italy. Endless adventures and orgasms with no responsibilities. And you women, you would be fine with living that life and having the state pay for the whole thing while you do your travel blog bullshit. And then come back to the States at 60 and go, I've had a good life. It's time to go die and go to the Soylent Green factory and put on the tape of the sunset and go into the great beyond. You'd be fine with that. Oh, I'm not. I can't work. I'm done. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to live anymore.
So now he thinks women are just commit suicide at 60?
Are you enjoying your life? You know, I'm not trying. Again, I'm being selfish here when I say this. I'm not trying to change the world. I'm not trying to convince anyone else how to live, how they should be, how life should be. I'm being virtuously selfish here. In a Randian sense. I have to exist in this shit future. And I don't enjoy it.
And he thinks that he's not at fault. Like him and guys like him are the reason why things are the way they are. Why? I've already mentioned it. Because women are mirrors. They reflect the men that they are around. That's just what it is. Trust me, if a woman comes around, a guy who they perceive as valuable, that they want to have their babies, that they look up to, that they revere, they're not going to want to get rid of him. He will travel around the world doing this, doing that, or staying in the same freaking cave every single day. She will be with him. And like, oh, poppycock, that's bullshit. It's not bullshit. It's absolutely not bullshit. I have proof of that. There's other guys that have proof of that, men that I know, some guys that I work with. Again, solipsism. God, this guy, he's just so broken and sad.
Sexual trysts Many find that they don't want to give up this freedom for the sake of stability. The idea of being tied down to one place or the other person can feel suffocating when there's an
Yeah,
more
it's like I said, when she's found the person that she perceives as that guy, it is absolutely not suffocating. She's like, how can I get under? I want to wear his shirt with him. That's how they behave.
game than something serious. Because
He's gonna
again, I'm gonna
blame it on women.
Try to be nice. Whose fault is that, guys? Whose fault?
So he's saying that dating feels like a game because of girls. Again, they're only reacting, responding, and reflecting what men are doing. And if they're acting like losers or weirdos or socially inept beings, they're going to respond to that. They're going to bounce off of that. They're going to react and respond. And if it's full of ick, right? Like what you kids like to say, then they're going to distance themselves from it.
Fault is that.
And then guys like this say, oh, they're playing games. No, you're just needy. You have really high desire. Your lust is through the roof and it controls you. And then therefore any action that the girl does makes you feel like you're put out.
Dating apps feel like a game. Whose fault is that? You know, there before probably what, 2015?
Yeah, he just wants women to be just available for losers like him.
You could actually go on a dating app in the morning and
listen to this.
Meet up with somebody for at least for drinks that night, and maybe they were using you to get drunk. That happened to me a lot. Some girl would, you know, she was not interesting, and she was not interested in getting to know me at all. She just wanted to get drunk. And then she'd turn on the waterworks right at about 8 or 9 o'clock when happy hour ended, and I paid the bill, and then put her in a cab and gave her $20. Gee, I wonder why I've spent my 20s broke. Oh, you're a nice guy, Raymond.
See, look at that face. What he's been experiencing, right? So what he just described and revealed is that he has been experiencing this his entire life. That's what's been happening with him. He has been experiencing this sort of thing. Well, I don't know for his entire life, but I would put money on it that that's what he's been experiencing. And now he's in a situation where there's metrics and symbols and information to kind of back up his anger, to back up his pain and say, look, this, look at all these girls, this is what they're doing, blah, 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 blah. Okay, this is why I'm frustrated. This is why I'm in pain. But he just revealed that this has been going on pre-dating apps, back when he was in college, right? Because, you know, this guy, he looks maybe my age or maybe a little bit younger, but he's had experience pre-internet. This has been going on in his whole life. So he is the problem. But his ego won't allow him to see that. There must be an external reason why he's in pain, why he is suffering. And it's been him the entire time. And for you guys, if it's happening, it's been you the entire time. No way, it's this because this. No, it's you the entire time. I promise you. And if you're lucky, you'll figure that out.
Fuck. Dating apps have made meeting people easier, but they've also turned dating into a numbers game with endless swiping. It's a numbers game for hot people. Dating apps is just a meat market for hot people. But they've also turned dating into a numbers game with endless swiping, short-lived conversations, and people treating connections like temporary distractions. Yeah, you pretty much just summed it up there, lady.
Yeah, and that's an attitude
it's hard
for
to find
people
something
who
meaningful.
don't get
the
what they
constant
want.
availability of new matches makes committing feel unnecessary, and many people aren't interested in competing for attention. Instead of spending time in shallow interactions that rarely lead anywhere, more people are walking away from the dating scene entirely. The gamification of dating has made relationships feel transactional. Or have they just shed a light on the truth. It's always been a transaction. I mean, fuck, cheaper to keeper was around in the 70s. My dad tells stories about growing up in Holiday Valley, a subdivision of Enon, Ohio. More disillusioned than hopeful. Many realize that they're happier without the stress of competing for attention in an oversaturated dating pool. Rather than participating in a system that prioritizes instant gratification over meaningful connection, they choose to step away from dating apps and embrace the life of independence. Sure they do. Real independent. Let me guess, these ladies have subsidized student loans they're not paying off. I guarantee you their parents are still paying their credit cards. The amount of women I have found that their parents pay their credit cards is unconscionable.
Such a bitch. Why does he care?
I'm sure they have sugar daddies and arrangements where they get a couple $100 a month for pics or something.
Look at how fucking bitter he is. Like, it's like, I can't tell if he would rather be in the woman's position and getting the things that a woman gets, or he's bitter that he's not being chosen.
$1,000 for a meetup. In the past, marriage often provided financial stability.
Have any of you guys ever heard that before? Like, I've heard like people talking about it conceptually, and people, girls kind of like saying it on TikTok, like, oh yeah, if you want to go out on a date with me, like you have to give me 500 up front or 1,000 up front or whatever. But I've never heard a guy give some anecdotal experience of saying, yeah, I asked this girl out and she said, yeah, you got to give me 500 up front or 1,000 up front. I've never in my life heard of that. It was always in the context of something conceptual.
But today, people are fully capable of supporting themselves. No, they're not. They're living off the state.
No, there's come to New York City, buddy. There's tons of employed women. They're not living off the fucking state. What is he talking about? Like welfare people? Why is he talking about women on welfare?
It's a massive 45% of your income goes towards taxes. If you're a single male,
right,
people are fully capable of supporting themselves. Women in particular are no longer reliant on marriage for security, and both men and women are prioritizing their careers and financial independence over relationships. The idea of staying in a relationship for financial reasons has become outdated, and without that pressure, people are choosing partners based on emotional connection rather than necessity, and emotions are based on how she feels that day.
No, that's feelings. Feelings shift quickly from moment to moment. Emotion goes much, much deeper than that. And he has no idea how to interact with that on a woman's level.
So there's no point in even attempting. Women just want a hot guy that will never tell her no.
No, they love it when you tell them no. I mean, if they desire you, right? If they desire you, it's double-edged. It's bittersweet, but the sweet is there, and it does things. It really does things. So that's a complete lie due to inexperience.
Financial independence has allowed people to live life on their terms. They no longer have bills. This level of autonomy means relationships are no longer a means to a slip right there. They're no longer a means to an end, but rather a conscious choice. It's like they're
like God forbid we actually have a choice to be with the people that we want to be with. What the fuck is he on about?
Almost admitting what they were the whole time. And for many, the choice is to remain single, enjoying the freedom that financial stability provides without the complications of a committed relationship. Oh, you're all forgetting all the casual sex you go get to have, and men don't.
No, you don't. And guys like you don't. There's plenty of men who get to have casual sex.
More people.
But if you're seasoned in that, you'll realize that is not very fulfilling. But that comes as a realization after some time.
People are actually realizing they prefer their own company. For a long time, being single was seen as something to avoid. in-between phase before finding the right person. But now more people are realizing that they genuinely enjoy their own company. Instead of viewing solitude as loneliness, they see it as freedom. They can make decisions without compromise, pursue their interests without distraction, and structure their days exactly how they want. Relationships require emotional energy, and for many, being single simply feels easier, more peaceful, and more aligned with their personal happiness.
Sure.
As long as you still get Chad on the weekends, right, ladies?
Of course.
Look.
And he, if he got what he wanted once a week, he would not be complaining either. All of this comes from just not getting what you want, and it has a root in self-hatred. That's all this is. This entire video, that's what this is.
I don't mind doing everything by myself. Coming back to a house that is in perfect order, that's clean, to a kitchen that's clean and everything's put away, to, you know, cleaning up after myself when I cook and there's no dirty dishes in the sink. The bath,
like he's suggesting that, like, if a woman was there, there would be dirty dishes in the sink and he would have to clean up after himself in the kitchen.
Tub and the bath toilet is clean when I use them. Because, you know, I'm a functioning adult and I cook and clean for myself. Yeah, that's kind of nice.
Yeah, he sounds real happy about that. He hates being alone because he hates himself. Like, that's a really great test. If you can't be alone without distractions, you probably don't like yourself.
But it would sure be nice to have some sex every once in a while, God forbid. As self-care and personal growth, God. But it would sure be nice to have some sex every once in a while, God forbid. But it would sure be nice to have some sex every once in a while, God forbid. As self-care and personal growth have become bigger priorities, people are learning that they don't need a relationship to feel whole.
God forbid.
They can cultivate strong friendships. No, you're not. You're not. I don't believe you.
No, you're not.
Into something just for the sake of it. And they're embracing the independence and self-sufficiency that come with being single. And more they enjoy their autonomy, the less appealing it is to becomes to sacrifice. There's that word again, sacrifice. You're going to give up your whole life.
And when she gets with the dude who she perceives as being that guy, sacrifice is easy. It actually feels good. That's what really happens. That's the truth of the matter. It feels bad when it's for something that you don't want. It's pretty simple math.
For a relationship that may not add real value to their life. Okay, here we go. Now we're starting to admit the truth. Hookup culture has blurred the lines of commitment. The rise of hookup culture has made casual relationships more common. Not for guys. I haven't had any in 8 fucking years. 8 years. Fucking years. Haven't had any in 8 fucking years. 8 years.
But the added, he thinks that it's not because of him. He thinks that him being ostracized by women is because of them. 8 years.
With commitment being less of a priority, traditional relationships have become harder to define. They're admitting it right here. People are more likely to engage in situationships. No, not really. Hot women are, and hot guys are, where there's an emotional connection but no real commitment. For those who want something stable and reliable, this uncertainty is exhausting, leading many to step away from dating altogether. That used to be a straightforward path. Dating exclusively, long-term commitment, has now turned into a confusing web of undefined relationships. Some people enjoy the freedom, but others find it draining to constantly question where they stand with a person. Rather than navigating the ambiguity and emotional ups and downs, many are choosing to remove themselves from the dating scene entirely, prioritize.
Well, the best thing to do about that as a man is to be forthright and honest about what you're doing. Whatever that is. That's the best way about it.
Clarity and peace of mind over the unpredictability of modern romance. Like I described at the beginning of this video, all of the last trysts and dates and one night stands, whatever.
Wait, you mean from 8 years ago?
That have happened. The last relationship that ended 15 years
ago.
It ended because she was sleeping with other people.
And why would that be? You just watched like 30 minutes. Why would that be? Why would she be going outside of a relationship if she had something at home that was so fucking good?
And I didn't want to be that lifestyle. I didn't want that lifestyle.
No, she wasn't inviting you into a lifestyle because that involves a very mature and open conversation about lifestyles and philosophies and desires and needs and things of that nature. No. That's not what happened. She wasn't having a lifestyle chat with you. She was not into you. You were not providing any sort of emotional fulfillment, right? Now, I'm not talking about feelings, but emotional, like core penetration, which is what women actually need, that very few men understand how to do. And then she goes off in search of that need because it's a deep, fundamental, probably almost spiritual need that you can't get with a loser like this guy who's just obsessed with titties and pussy and self-validation and neediness and hunger.
I wanted long-term relationship commitment.
Yes, but because you're needy.
I wanted exclusivity. It's kind of like one of my standards. Women don't.
Because you don't have any other choice.
Want that. They are making a choice. People are thinking this is thinking, Ringwin, you're so toxic. Is thinking, Ringwin, you're so toxic. Many people are breaking free from the idea that they need to be in a relationship to feel complete. I never said a thing about feeling complete. Pearls before swine, man. Toxic relationships can be a serious toll on mental health, and more people are prioritizing their well-being over staying in draining situations. Therapy, self-care, and personal growth have become more important than focusing on healthy relationships to work. Forcing unhealthy relationships to work. Instead of settling for something that causes stress, people are choosing themselves first, okay? I chose myself first for the last 3.5 years. I've worked on my sobriety, my finances, my weight, my physical health and physique.
And you still hate yourself. I rebuilt the whole
house by myself. I've become a workaholic. All I do is this YouTube channel. Contract gigs. Fuck, when I was working for the man, I would find things to do for people. All I do is work.
Because it's a cope. All that fervor is a cope to deal with the fact that he hates himself. So first it was the drinking. The drinking was a massive cope to deal with the fact that he hated himself. That almost killed him. So he had an awakening. All right, I need to take better care of myself. But then that self-hate didn't go anywhere, right? He didn't address it. And then that had to be coped with again. So he got sucked into creating an identity around this person of self-hatred. And, it seems to be doing all right here on YouTube. And he's a workaholic. He has a contracting thing that he does. He's even helping friends. So all of his time is always occupied with something. So he never has to actually sit with himself and figure himself out because that's painful.
Work. I can only self-improve so much. And therapy, fuck you. Therapy is just agreeing to pay some feminist $200 an hour to tell you that you're a terrible man because you want to have sex again before you die.
Well, it's not the thing, and I've always said this around a number of subjects. It's not the actual thing that's the problem, it's the relationship you have to that thing. And that's what causes the destruction. And where that relationship comes from has threads that go back in time into your own personal history. And if you're unwilling to look at those threads and unravel them or cut them when necessary, then you're always going to be living a life of symptoms. And
rather than staying in relationships out of fear of being alone, more people are setting boundaries and walking away from anything that negatively impacts their mental health. They're realizing that love isn't supposed to be this exhausting, and that being single doesn't mean being unhappy. In fact, for many, it's the healthiest option.
Yeah, and he takes it personally because, again, he's solipsistic. So that to him says, it's healthier and happier for a woman to not be with me. That being with me would take away from her well-being. And that strengthens his own self-hating view. Hey, what's going on here?
Look, I try to distract myself with things to do. I ride my bike in the summer. I work out every day.
Tried to distract himself from the self-hatred. He desperately needs a good therapist.
I am always trying to fill my time.
Right, because he hates himself.
They're focusing on healing, self-discovery, and creating a life that feels good with or without a partner. Well, you know, most guys don't get a choice. We don't get a choice to have or not have a partner. We are forced to accept our loneliness.
No, you are forced to accept your loneliness because you have no options, because you can't create options. That's the difference, okay? If you want to compare men, women, options, things like that, for women, the options are created for them, for generally speaking, okay? For men, we have to create our options. And if you're too lazy, if you're too scared, or if just you were dealt a bad hand in life, then you're going to have little to no options. You must create your options in life. Boo-hoo, that's the truth of the matter. That's the objective reality of life for men. If you don't have options, no one's going to come wipe your nose and do it for you. That stopped when you were 8 years old, or sooner, or a little bit later. But at some point, someone bigger than you said, you need to start wiping your own nose. No one's going to come pick you up when you skin your knee anymore. You have to do something with your own tears. You need to learn to self-soothe and solve the problem. That's life for men. If you don't like it, you can complain as much as you like, but life will not stop. It will keep trucking forward, and it will forget about you. I mean, it's going to forget about all of us eventually. So either get with the program or shut up.
And live despite it. You know, when I was a kid,
No, I don't want to hear about that.
a great aunt's house, go visit these women that were they always had some kind of noise going in the house. Kid, why they would run the TV, now that I'm 36 and I spend every waking moment alone, I absolutely understand leaving other than your own thoughts. And yes, I spend a great deal of time alone in my own thoughts. Part of the reason I do this YouTube channel is because I was sitting there talking to myself about anything and everything, and I realized I was actually saying things that would be appealing and make a lot of sense to people. And it's worked out so far. All right, let's finish this up because this thing is just pissing me off. The fear of divorce making marriage seem less appealing. No shit, Sherlock. Like, divorce is basically a guarantee now. It's a guarantee. Like, they say, oh, it's only 48% of marriages. It's no. It's the majority of marriages. I don't hear any stories about people who are happily married at all. I only hear from guys that are like, yeah, this sucks. Wait till you actually find someone and you're married. You'll see. I'm not even going to read it. Social media makes single life more appealing. Yeah, and women spend a ton of time on social media, from influencers showcasing their solo adventures to endless posts about toxic relationships. Yeah. Social media has painted an attractive picture of single life. Being single is no longer seen as sad or lonely. It's aspirational. Sure it is. Seeing others thrive in their independence has helped normalize the idea of happiness doesn't have to come from a relationship. Again, when have I purported that happiness is the meaning of life? It's not. That's something that I realized when I got sober, is that I would never be happy.
Yes, because you're living in yourself, which you can't stand. Of course you're never going to be happy. If you look in the mirror and go, I fucking hate you. I am like you guys, just be grateful that you don't live a reality like this. Just stop for a moment and be grateful that you don't wake up feeling like this man every day.
It's a lark. It's not worth. You're not.
I think he's thinking about getting rid of himself.
It's a lark.
Wait. Oh, shit.
It's not. That's something that I realized when I got sober, is that I would never be happy. It's a lark. It's not worth.
Did you hear it? It's not
You're
worth.
Not. People don't want to compromise their lifestyle. More rhetoric about lifestyle. Here we go. Okay. Relationships require compromise. For many, that's not something they're willing to do. I would say for the vast majority of women and men, no one is compromising, because we're all convinced that we deserve the world and that it's just around the corner. And we're destroying our society. We're destroying our nation. We've destroyed the West. We have nothing worth living for. We've got hundreds of millions of men who they have no reason to get up in the morning. And no, I'm not saying women are the only point, purpose, and reason to be.
Yes, you are. Because the fact of the matter is,
goes towards funding the sex.
No. Because you wouldn't be here at all if it wasn't for women. Well, stop with the lies.
They have no reason to get up in the morning. And no, I'm not saying women are the only point, purpose, and reason to be. But when 45% of your income goes towards funding the sex lives of single mothers, like, why do anything?
That's what I'm saying. Like, he's so close to giving up.
Or even just their preferred way of living. People don't want to give up their freedom. Many have built lives they love and aren't interested in changing them to fit someone else's. The thought of altering their lifestyle for the sake of a relationship simply isn't worth it when they've already content on their own. Modern relationships often come with expectations. All relationships come with expectations. Moving cities, adjusting work schedules, making major financial sacrifices. But as more people embrace independence, they're realizing they don't have to change their lifestyles to accommodate someone else. Continue building family and friends, not just romantic.
Let's skip through this. Oh, here it is at the end here.
Now, I understand they're talking about siblings and parents. With my siblings and my parents.
I don't want to hear about your family. I know it's fucked
up. And we're going to reach a fulcrum.
Like, how much you want to bet he has a shitty relationship with his mother?
More people are finding deep, meaningful connections in friendships, families, and even within themselves. A fulfilling life doesn't have to revolve around one romantic partner, and plenty of people are providing that. Happiness comes in many forms.
Right. So there's like, this is kind of like what's happening. Okay. There's still the need, right? It's part of a human need. And it's like you can either have a bowl and have that filled by just one entity, or you can have a bunch of little shot glasses and come up with the same liquid volume. And that's basically what people are doing, because having one person that has the capacity and the ability to fill that singular large vessel is extremely rare when it comes to men.
Instead of chasing relationships, they're investing in love they already have around them. In many ways, the shift has made relationships feel less like a necessity and more like a choice. Yeah, and nobody likes their choices. I never purported to say that they were a necessity. People are no longer seeking a partner to fill a void. They're building strong support systems that don't rely on romance. Friendships, family bonds, and self-love. Self-love. Self-love.
Oh, of course he hates that.
Have become just as valuable as romantic connections, making the single life feel less missing out and more like a valid, fulfilling path. Yeah, until there's no children.
Of course he hates that phrase, self-love.
Until there's no kids.
Yep.
None of you care.
All right, I'm going to end this.
For the bleak dystopia.
All right, I'm going to end that. So clearly, he does want that ending, okay? But he doesn't at the same time. He doesn't want it because the truth of his existence will become much more, it'll be legitimized, all right? And, but at the same time, like, he wants it to happen because that's the only thing left to teach the women a lesson that have harmed him and, perhaps other men like him that he feels that he is defending. Right. And that's it. Like, that's the only leg he has. And it's a feeble one. It's like, it's a leg that has fucking, rickets. Like, he doesn't have much to stand on. All he has is finding a means for this negativity, this hatred, this despair to find an avenue to release itself. That's what he is left to do. Don't allow yourself to become like this guy, like Raymond, where you become just, your existence is a cope for yourself, venting your anger on a daily basis, and then having it turn into an identity for you on YouTube, which enables you to remain as you are. Don't have an existence like this. Seriously. You have to embrace your shadow. You have to learn how to commune with yourself so that you can integrate all of the things that you don't like about yourself. So there it is. I'm going to pull this to a close. I went a little bit over than I expected, but this was fun. It was nice to see, get out of my own bubble of perfection and see someone who is just living in complete darkness that is self-imposed. So I hope you guys got some things out of that. I hope you were inspired to never become someone like that, to consume someone's material who is like that, or to be around anyone who is like that. Like, that should be the most toxic man ever. So you don't want to be like him. You want to be around him. You don't want to absorb anything from him. This will be the only time that I expose you to someone who's like that. I will never visit his channel again. But you need to see that there are people like this out there, and to see what self-hatred looks like at a fairly high level. I really hope that he does not off himself. And when someone is like that, I've learned that they're beyond help. That's the problem. They've gone so far into one end of the spectrum that it's impossible to pull them back. I've had clients who are like that, and they resist and resist and resist because they've grown roots on that end of the seesaw. They're just roots have dug in and they go down for miles. There's no helping it. So, all right, you guys, thank you for stopping through on the live. Thank you for watching us on the replay. I appreciate you all. Take a moment to go to my Substack and read the articles there that I put on there. They're a little bit more philosophical and deep when it comes to dominance and submission, male and female psychology. There's also excerpts from one of the subs that I'm training in her diary, so you can read through her excerpts of what her process has been like. It'll be nice to look behind the curtain. It's a lot of people are enjoying that aspect of my Substack. And of course, go to my website, take a look at what I've got going on there. And if you have any questions, hit me up, make a Calendly appointment with me. The first call is free. We can talk about whatever you like, see what your goals are, and get things cracking. Okay, until then, we'll talk to you soon, and have yourself a great day.